Now that you have a copy of this document, let's go ahead and get into what you're going to be doing today. So the directions say, for this assignment, you are going to find details from the text to support both sides of the question below. And the question is, does Rainsford become the next Zaroff? And what we mean by that is, does Rainsford, in having changed so much throughout the story, does he have the potential to become like Zaroff and start hunting humans on this island? Now, a couple things. One, you want to make sure you're citing your quotations correctly. So it gives you instructions on how to do so here. So for instance, if I'm citing someone who's saying something, so I'm citing a quote, I'm going to put the double quotes around the single quote, and then I'm going to make sure I have the author's last name, page number, period at the end. Okay, so make sure we're reading through these instructions. So again, this is if the direct quote has dialogue, you put a single quote around any of the dialogue, and then double quotes always go around the whole thing. Now, it's pretty easy if it doesn't have dialogue. You just put quotation marks at the beginning, quotation marks at the end, author's last name, page number, and then always make sure we're putting the period at the end. You're not going to put it in the quotation itself. Now, we've made this pretty easy for you. If you scroll towards the third page and on, it gives you a number of passages that you can use for this assignment. So I'm, again, looking for details that Rainsford becomes the next Zaroff and details where he does not become the next Zaroff, or in my mind, I think details that prove he doesn't become the next Zaroff. So you can use your PDF. You can also use the passages provided below. So let's do a quick example to get you started. So if we scroll down, let's look at passage 1. And most of these passages, actually all of these passages, have details to prove either side of this argument. So make sure you're really looking through the passages, seeing which side of the argument the details will prove. So I'm going to read through all of passage 1. Now, I've already read it, so I know that I am going to choose this line where it says, "Nonsense," laughed Rainsford. "This hot weather is making you soft, Whitney. Be a realist. The world is made up of two classes, the hunters and the huntees. Luckily, you and I are hunters." So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go and copy. So Control C. I'm going to head back up, and I have to ask myself, all right, well, what side does this prove? Well, I personally think it proves the side that Rainsford might become the next Zaroff. So what I'm going to do, and you can use this example too, so make sure you're putting this example in your skills building or your quote gathering activity. And I'm going to go ahead and paste my quote into the table. Now, I need to also make sure I'm looking at the rules for direct quotes and quotes that have dialogue and quotes that don't have dialogue. So here the men are talking, so there is some dialogue. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to scroll up to if the direct quote has dialogue and use that to help me cite this particular quote. So I know the dialogue has to have one quotation mark to indicate dialogue. So I'm going to go ahead and delete double quotation marks and then put single quotation marks. And since this is the end of what he was saying, I cut the quote a little bit short. I'm going to end with a single quotation there. Now, since I'm citing the whole thing around the whole entire quote, I'm going to use the double quotations. Double quotations there, double quotations here. And then I need to make sure I'm putting the parentheses. Notice how I've deleted the period at the end of the quotation there. I'm going to put Connell because that's our author. And then I'm going to put the page number. Now, if you look on each of the passages, it'll tell you which page number. So this says Connell 54. So I'm going to just say Connell 54. And then put a period at the end. So this is what your quotations should look like when you enter them into your document. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions, make sure you're reaching out to me and letting me know. But try to fill up this chart for both sides. I would say you're going to want at least 3 to 4 direct quotes, either from or to either prove that Rainsford becomes the next Zaroff or to prove that Rainsford does not become the next Zaroff. Have a good rest of your day.